Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Kent Cricket live stream sponsored by Cluberly. We're here to potentially witness Kent women against Glamorgan women in the Women's Vitality Blast League 2. I'm here with Molly Davis, Kent wicketkeeper. How are you, Molly?
I'm very well, thank you.
Oh, we wish we could say the same about the weather, though, because we're meant to be in the Garden of England, and it looks like the English Channel at the minute. There's rain falling down from the heavens. There's been some claps of thunder. And I'm sure you can see on the live stream now that the covers are firmly on, and you can just see that glisten of water on the covers. We have had a toss. The toss took place at 2 p.m. after another shower. Glamorgan won that toss and they chose to bowl first. Smart decision?
I think so. I think, especially in a rain-affected game, bowling first, you know what you're going to be chasing, especially if that reduced run rate comes in. So, yeah, I think it's a good toss to win, if anything.
Adrian Long, the head of grounds, just walking beneath us. He doesn't look like he's in any rush to get these covers off. There are a few people in the grounds, a few hardy Kent women supporters. That's great to see. But unfortunately, I don't think we'll be starting on time. Kent women are playing here at the Spitfire ground, whilst Kent men, or should I say the Kent Spitfires, are playing the same opposition, Glamorgan, at Sapphire Gardens. They are just about to get underway. What we'll do is we will give you updates from that game, and we will hopefully get some play here today. We'll be back in about 5 minutes' time, potentially with a very special guest, but until then, we'll see you in a few minutes. Hello everyone to just tuned in to the Kent Cricket live stream, proudly sponsored by Cluberly. We'd like to thank Cluberly for all their support of our live streams this season. As you can see from the live stream, it's not the start we're hoping for. The rain has started to fall. You might be able to hear a few claps of thunder in the distance every now and then. It's either that or we're adjusting our headsets. I'm here with Molly Davis, Kent wicketkeeper. Molly, what do you reckon? Any prospects of play today looking at the forecast?
I think you have to be hopeful, don't you? Obviously, there's a lot of grey cloud about, but it kind of looks like it opens up and the rain starts to pour and then it stops and we get a bit of a break in the clouds. So hopefully there can be some play today.
So this is potentially Kent Women's second home Vitality Blast fixture in their history. Still looking for their first win at home though in this competition.
Yeah, I know it's something that the whole team's obviously looking to achieve and get straight onto. There's obviously been a couple of changes in the team as well. So hopefully that can inspire a bit of change and hopefully a win.
I should just say as well that this fixture has been, we have decided to proudly support the Unite for Access campaign by Level Playing Field during Disability Pride Month. Level Playing Field is a charity that aims to ensure matchday experiences across all sports are accessible for all disabled fans, and the Unite for Access campaign is an opportunity to celebrate access successes, such as our accessible viewing platform here by the Leslie Ames stand, and to raise awareness of the importance of accessibility within sporting venues. So today is our Unite for Access campaign match. Pleased to say that a few of the guys from Level Playing Field are here today as well as our disability liaison officers at the club. I just wish we had a game for them.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, like I said, we can get on. If my eyes don't mistake me, hopefully the rain, it looks like it's stopped. So hopefully a little bit of a break here. Ground staff here are brilliant, so I know they'll be keen to do all they can to get the teams on today.
Yeah, they've won awards for a reason, Adrian Long and the boys. They've been taking the covers off, putting them on again, taking them off again for the toss, and now they're on again. So no play here at the minute in Canterbury, but at the same time, in one of those weird quirks of the cricketing schedule, Kent men are playing the same opposition, Glamorgan, at Spitfire Gardens in Cardiff. They are 2 without loss after the first over. Tawanda Mayeye and Daniel Beldrum with a run each. I just wish we could talk about some cricket here.
Yes, exactly. I mean, looking at the men's game there, the sun is shining in Wales. So hopefully that can try and venture its way down here and we can have some sun. But speaking to the ground staff earlier today, they are not a big lover of the weather apps. They'd like to know their own forecast. So hopefully they have some positive news.
Yeah, Oasis were in Cardiff on Friday and they're now in the sunshine. And we wish there was some here. I'm now going to hand over to Molly, who has a very special guest for us. Molly, do you want to introduce who's joined us up here in the commentary box?
I will. Kent's one of her young rising stars, Genevieve Jeer. At just 16, she's making very good progress throughout the age group and into senior cricket, and I'm delighted to have her here today. She's just come off of the back of her GCSEs, which sees a distant memory from myself. However, today up here in the commentary box, a different angle and view onto the game, so she'll be joining us now. Genevieve, how are you?
Hi, yeah, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm sure you're loving the fact you're up in the warm commentary box today.
Yeah, I know. Lucky it's warm in here. Looking outside is making me cold.
So what do you think today they'll be doing up in the changing room during these rain delays?
Probably a bit of cards, bit of food. That's what I'd be doing. Definitely get the cards out, 100%.
Bit of Uno?
Yeah, always. A little bit of cheat the game. Love that.
Love that. So, for everyone listening at home, obviously it's a great opportunity to have one of Kent's players up here having a conversation, just to sort of get to know you a little bit and just sort of find out your insight in cricket. So, for everyone at home, do you mind just explaining to us how you got into cricket?
Yeah. So, I started playing cricket when I was 9 years old. So, I kind of got into it through my school. So, I went to a primary school, obviously, and they sort of like started playing cricket, just quick cricket, and then I fell in love with it, really. So, Lucy Arman, who's involved in Kent at the moment, she sort of influenced me to join a club, and then ever since then I've just kept playing and fallen in love with it. So yeah,
it's a nice story. I think a lot of people have a similar view, don't they? Go through primary school clubs, and you mentioned Lucy Arman, obviously head of women's cricket here at Kent Cricket, so that's full circle for you.
Full circle moment.
I can imagine. So obviously I touched earlier about you moving into senior cricket at just the age of 16, and obviously you've played a lot of age group stuff as well. So for you, you're probably a great person to ask, what do you think the main difference is moving from age group cricket into the senior world?
Yeah, so I feel like obviously the standard of cricket is so different, but it's also understanding a lot about the cricket, so like the game awareness and stuff like that, which is sometimes you just go out on bowl, you'd go out and bat in sort of like under 12s, under 15s, but it's like understanding the game, the match, the pitch, which I feel like you learn and develop the more you play. So obviously going into senior cricket, that's sort of been something that we've spoken about a lot in team environments. And then obviously the standard just gets better, so yeah.
Yeah, no, I think it's great to be exposed to that at such a young age, and you've played for a lot of different teams, which is great, and you've worked with some really sort of amazing people, I take it, over the last few years, and senior players. Not to name drop, but if you sort of worked with anyone sort of that you feel you've learnt a lot from over the last few years,
Like players.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say in the Surrey team, because obviously I play in the Surrey academy. Sometimes when we have second 11 games or we train, sometimes the first team come down. Obviously, lots of the girls are involved in the 100. So being around players that are playing professionally, that you're watching on the screen, stuff like that. Obviously, that's a great environment, like Bryony Smith, people like that. So they only help you and make you develop as a player, really.
No, it's a really good environment to be in, and you've just touched there about Surrey. So for anyone who doesn't know, I'll probably give you a brief sort of introduction to what that means, but I'm sure Gems can sort of come in and explain it in more detail. So obviously Kent here are in a tier 2 setup, which is not professional as of yet, but something that Kent are looking to achieve in the future. Surrey being tier 1, which means they're fully professional side. So someone like Genevieve will play for the Kent women's team here in the tier 2, but in their academy, she's in a tier 1 academy. So obviously you get the sort of the best of both worlds in that sense. But to everyone at home and playing in it yourself, can you explain a bit more to what that actually means?
Yeah. So obviously playing in the Surrey academy, that sort of feeds into the Surrey first team. So obviously you get the academy, then the second 11, and then the first team. So it just sort of feeds you into that pathway, which everyone all kind of aspires to do. So playing, like, obviously I have to balance that with the Kent team, which is just great. Lots of lovely girls, so yeah.
That's amazing. And I know this year you had the privilege of doing a pre-season tour. Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you want to just touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to get invited with Surrey. It was sort of like with their first team to go to Abu Dhabi, which was great experience, lovely weather, a few days off of sunbathing. So yeah, it was great. We had a great time. Obviously, being around players that have such a high standard just only improves your own standard. So yeah.
That's amazing. I mean, these tours are what everyone dreams of doing, so I'm very jealous of that. Just to quickly touch on the Kent men that are playing, obviously we've mentioned earlier, away at Glamorgan today, we are 7 for 1 off of 2.3 overs, so Harry Finch has joined Tawanda Miyeye to continue Kent's batting innings. So no, that's amazing, and sort of moving forward to the season now, lots of cricket play between academy cricket at Surrey and Kent cricket here. What are your goals for the season, just personally to touch on?
Yeah, so obviously it's quite early in the season, so I can't be too critical with myself. But yeah, just score runs, just try and get as much time on the pitch as I can. Score runs, get wickets. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Probably get some 50s, hopefully. Let's hope.
No, I think keeping it simple sometimes is the
Yeah,
best
definitely
way.
back to basics a bit.
Yeah, I think not to overthink things generally makes cricket pretty simple, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously, when you're not playing cricket, I know you and your whole family are quite a sporty family. So when you're not playing cricket, what do you get up to?
So I quite like to cook, a bit of baking, which I know you like too, Molly. And then, yeah, because we're quite a sporty family, like you said, we like to play a bit of tennis, get a bit active when on my days off. So, yeah, stuff like that, really.
So I'm sure you're following Wimbledon currently.
Of course I am. Carlos Alcaraz. Yeah, hopefully he's my number one, so I hope he makes it to the final.
You think he's going to win?
I hope so, yeah. Honestly, I hope so.
No, I'm following the Euros myself,
Oh.
so you're not a football. We'll stick to the cricket
Yeah,
and tennis
no.
then, shall we? So any superstitions then? I've sort of got a few questions that have just been fired to me from a few people that wanted to ask you a few things today. So superstitions in cricket, do you have any?
I don't really have that many. Obviously, like the typical one pad on first, all of that. But I wouldn't say I have too many superstitions. Like, I don't really dwell on them too much, which I'm going to try and keep the same. Yeah, I don't want too many.
I knew somebody that ate the same breakfast for about 6 years when I played
Oh,
cricket and the
God.
same radio station on the way to cricket.
Oh, I'd get sick of it, surely.
I feel like now Spotify's taken over, isn't
Yeah.
it? Or any other music platform. So, okay then, another sort of question that's been fired through, talking of sort of music, is there any song that you would play pre-game to sort of hype yourself up before going out?
Good question. I mean, I love a bit of Adele, but she's obviously quite low-key, like subtle vibe, so maybe not to hype me up, but yeah, I love Olivia Dean at the moment. I feel like she's getting really good, a lot more popular, obviously at Glastonbury, stuff like that, so yeah.
Yeah, I know sort of the Kent women have sort of adopted, haven't we, Pink Pony Club?
Yeah, love a bit of Chaperone, bit of Beyonce, get in there, yeah.
That's our song this year. And just to quickly update the viewers, I believe it's another wicket that Kent have lost at Glamorgan, I think it is Tawanda Mayeye, he falls. So we'll keep you updated with that score as that continues, as they continue to get play. Just a quick update from here. I think the rain is still falling slightly lighter at the moment, so hopefully soon that will go away and the covers will be taken up. But yeah, just to continue with Genevieve. So we've had obviously your superstitions and your hype song. Looking back at your career so far, what would you say has been the most sort of proud moment that you've had?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd probably say maybe my debut for Kent Women. I feel like that will stick with me for a long time. Obviously, I was quite young, so I think I'll remember that. I think it was at the Essex County ground as well, so quite daunting, as I think I was only 13 or something. But yeah, I'd have to say like my key moment. I think it was last season, the opening game. I think I got 40-something runs and a fifer, so that was honestly a great day. Everyone had the team around you, so yeah, it was a really good experience.
I think I was there watching that one,
yeah,
actually.
probably.
I mean, I was going to ask you your sort of proudest sort of high scores or bowling moments, but I think the
fifer, yeah, definitely. I don't think I'll be able to top that, so
I'm sure as you go on, I'm sure you'll blow them records out of
we'll see, hopefully.
out of the park. But sort of then turning your focus to the Kent women's team this year, you've been around the team quite a bit. Like I said, a short break for exams, but sort of just speaking at the vitality blast this year with what we've seen, obviously as Liam mentioned earlier, looking to get our first win at home. How do you think the vibe is around camp and sort of looking at what they're looking to achieve over the next few weeks?
Yeah, I think obviously we're a very new team with all the different tiers going on. So I think we've adapted to that really well and gelled as a team. So I think as long as we just take that out onto the pitch and keep working together, I think the team environment will speak for itself. Like, we're all very talented people, and that's why we're all here. So yeah, hopefully we'll get a good win under the belt.
Yeah, we're very lucky this year. I think, as people have touched on many a time, that we're a very new team that's been formed with people that are exceptionally talented cricketers coming from different counties. So coming together is probably one of our biggest, I wouldn't say challenges, but our biggest focuses this year. So couple more questions. Someone's just asked me to ask yourself, best ground you've played at. Obviously mine is here.
It's got to be here. Silly question.
So mine is the home of Kent cricket. Where would you say the best place that you've played?
Obviously playing out in Abu Dhabi was ridiculously lovely, so I'd probably have to say the grounds out there. But I do quite like playing at the Essex County ground. Great atmosphere, lots of people coming into the crowd. So yeah, I quite like playing there as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time, Genevieve. It's been really insightful. I hope
Thank
everyone
you.
at home has enjoyed listening to you rather than listening to me. And we'll bring Liam Knight back in a second, but thank you for your time.
Thank you.
No worries. So Liam Knight will be joining me back in the chair. As I have touched on, I think the rain might have stopped here at Canterbury, but I'm sure Liam's eyesight is far better than mine. But yeah, welcome back, Liam.
Hello everyone. Yes, I've got my new contact lenses in. I think the rain has stopped. The ground staff, however, might be covering the practice wickets now. We might be expecting a little bit more rain. The thunder that was here earlier seems to have gone now. But it doesn't look good, does it?
And now at the moment it's not looking like play is about to start anytime soon. Hopefully soon that some positive sun can make its way through the clouds. But as we have touched on, I know the ground staff here will be very keen to get some cricket on.
Like we keep saying, Kent men are playing the same opposition at Sapphire Gardens in Cardiff. They're now 12 for 2 after 4 overs. Joe Denny and Harry Finch in the middle. Molly, we've got a small subject here of a T20 double header on the horizon. Kent women and Kent men will both be playing Middlesex here at the Spitfire ground on Sunday the 13th of July. That will be the first time it will be a Kent double header here. There's been a few with the South East Stars back in the day of the regional setups. Are you excited about these double headers?
It's going to be brilliant, isn't it? I think it's, as you've touched on, to have both Kent teams playing here is amazing. And I think as well for Kent fans and Kent members to be able to come out for the day and watch both of their teams play is incredible. And I know the ladies up in the dressing room that are playing are going to be really keen for next week. So hopefully this bad weather moves on by then and we can get some play.
Just looking at the weather forecast now, it does look like it's going to be sunny and 24 on Sunday. I think it's good as well that it's on a Sunday, isn't it? So people aren't having to leave work early to come to the first game. They can get both games of cricket in, can't they, on the Sunday?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Sunday's a lovely day. I think it's accessible for everybody, and it's a nice way to spend your weekend, isn't it? That's where I'd want to be, watching cricket.
You're listening to Liam Knight and Molly Davis on the Kent Cricket live stream, proudly sponsored by Cluberly. It's our Unite for Access Day here today with level playing field. There's a few people dotted around the ground trying to find cover wherever they can. It does look like it is started to brighten up a tiny bit, but the cover's going on the practice wickets and pegs going in as well. It doesn't look too great on prospects of play. We'll keep you updated. We'll take a little break now for a few minutes and we'll see you shortly. So welcome back to the Kent Cricket live streams, proudly sponsored by Cluberly. My name's Liam, I'm here with Molly Davis, Kent wicket keeper. I'm afraid the rain continues to fall here at the Spitfire around St Lawrence, and it's equally as bleak from a Kent perspective over in a sunny Sapphire Gardens in Cardiff, where Kent Spitfires at the end of the 6-over power play are 27 for 3. They're in a bit of bother. Twandamieye out for 6. Daniel Bell-Drummond made 2. Harry Finch bowled by Ned Leonard for 7. Joe Denley in there now with the Kent captain Sam Billings. Molly, it's looking a bit bleak. There's a bit of sun trying to poke out of a few ends of clouds, but it's still raining, isn't it?
It is. I wouldn't be shocked if we do get any play today. It's going to be a very reduced game, I would imagine. Maybe a T5.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? A nice little shootout in the afternoon.
Anything could happen in these games.
So as we say, it's raining here as the Eurythmics Rain on Me keeps playing outside. I think Rob Howard, our PA sound announcer today, is going through his entire catalogue of songs that have the word rain in or rain themed. We were joined a little bit earlier by Genevieve Jeer, Kent Women All-Rounder. If you wanted to listen to that again, you can rewind the stream and have a listen to her chat with Molly. Hopefully we might get a couple of other guests that are listening in the changing room if they wanted to come up and have a chat on the live stream. At the moment though, I can see 4 hardy supporters around the family zone by Freeman House under their umbrellas, rain coated up. There's a few people on the accessible viewing platform. I think there are a few people in the Underwood and Knott and Frank Willie stands as well under cover. The skies are brightening up. We are still getting the odd rumble of thunder. We'll keep you updated on any prospects of play, but for now, you can enjoy the pictures on the live stream of the covers getting even wetter. Once again, hello everyone and welcome back to the live stream of Kent Women versus Glamorgan Women, proudly sponsored by Cluberly. Slight update here in that the ground staff have taken off the practice wicket covers. James Hockley, the Kent Women head coach, is now having a look at the outfield. We did see the umpires come down and have a look a few moments ago. So we might, Molly, have a bit of a game on. I can see you've got the radar on there.
Yeah, there's still rain around, unfortunately, but it's not looking maybe as bleak as it was about an hour ago, which feels more positive to get some play in, which will be nice. But it's always nice when the ground staff take off some of the covers from the practice wickets and the coaches make their way out to have a little look.
Meanwhile, at Sapphire Gardens, Kent men are now 4 down, 37 for 4 in the 9th over. Sam Billings was just bowled for 5. Joe Everson joins Joe Denley in the middle. Yeah, there's a bit of movement going on below us. I think the ground staff are now, they finished taking off the practice covers. They may now start to have a look at those main covers on the square itself.
Yeah, it looks like James Hockley is just wandering over for a little update there to see if he can get some information out of them. But as I was just speaking to Liam while we were off air, I recall the Blaze game here about a month ago now, maybe a couple of months, and that looked slightly bleak in the morning, but we were on pretty quickly when the rain stopped. So hopefully it's a similar story today.
Yeah, I think if any of the people listening in or watching and came to any of the fixtures in Canterbury Cricket Week, they will remember how parched the outfield was. It was sandy. It wasn't very green. So I think this rain will just soak straight into the outfield. Ground staff obviously know what they're doing. They've got awards many years now here at the Spitfire ground and at the county ground Beckenham. Hopefully that water is just soaked straight into the drainage system here, where you can see the lines actually on the outfield from the drainage system. That's how dry it's been. Hopefully they're doing their job, and I think you can now see on the live stream the ground staff, Steve Martin there, having a look at the covers, potentially taking them off.
Yeah, it looks a bit more promising here. It's probably a conflicting view from the ground staff. They want to get some play today, but I'm sure they're quite happy it's had a little bit of rain to help the grass sort of be a bit greener and looking a bit better. So, yeah, I think it's a mixed opinion from the groundsman today.
Yeah, one thing's for sure, they won't be using the sprinklers today, so they're saving a bit of water on that front. Just looking past Freeman House, the clouds are brightening up slightly. We haven't had any thunder for the last 10 or so minutes.
Yeah, that's an encouraging sign. So hopefully, as Liam has said, we can get some cricket. Umbrellas are still up around the ground. I think that's more for safety rather than it actually still raining. But everyone looks like they've congregated down by the cafe, which probably isn't a bad shout.
Kent men now are in trouble. They're 38 for 5. Joe Denley's just been bowled by Gorvin for 17, so a lot of work to do for the Spitfires at Sapphire Garden. Hopefully, if we do get play here, we'll have something better to talk about.
Hopefully. I mean, both teams have had sort of a different competition. So, as we've touched on earlier, I'm sure the Kent women are looking for their first win at home in the Variety Blast this year.
As you say that, Molly, it has just started to rain again.
No.
The water is just coming on the Combox windows here. I don't know if you can see it on the live stream, but the ground staff are stood by the covers, almost saying it's raining again. They're now walking off. They were about to take the covers off, but I think that plan has now been abandoned. Riley Nicholson, one of the ground staff here, has signalled to say, shall we get the covers back on the practice wickets? It was looking so good, but I think we're back to square one now.
Yes, I think we've definitely taken about 4 steps backwards. I mean, as you are right, it has started to slightly rain here, but some of the clouds do look a bit more promising around, so hopefully this all pushes through and we can get a game of some description on.
I think, looking at your radar there, Molly, we have actually missed the worst of the rain.
Yes.
It looks like if you're in Folkestone right now, or Dover, you're getting the most of the rain here.
It does look that way. So hopefully this bit of wind we've had has pushed it through and we're gathering the last end of it. But I feel that the weather apps can give us as much information, but sometimes it does its own thing, doesn't it?
Yeah, sometimes the Spitfire can be a bit of a sanctuary from the weather. Sometimes you see the clouds go round the outfield here, but today they've decided to go over. Can see a little bit of sunshine actually. It's just one of those days really. We're in start of July. It's the start of the summer, and you'll just get every now and then these thunderstorms, won't you?
And as I can confirm, they are putting the covers back on the practice wicket, just to ensure that doesn't get too damaged. But obviously we will keep you updated as the day progresses. And looking at the radar app, I think by about 4:30, it looks like it finally goes away. So we'll see where that takes us.
You're listening to the Kent Cricket live stream, proudly sponsored by Cluberly. My name's Liam. I'm here with Molly, Kent wicketkeeper. Just a reminder that this is our Unite for Access campaign fixture in association with Level Playing Field. Level Playing Field is a charity that aims to ensure matchday experiences across all sports are accessible for all disabled fans, and the Unite for Access campaign is an opportunity to celebrate access successes, just like the accessible viewing platform we have here at the Spitfire ground by the Leslie Ames stand, and our changing places facility as well by the Leslie Ames stand. And it's also to raise awareness of the importance of accessibility within sporting venues. As part of Kent Cricket's commitment to accessibility, the club has worked with Level Playing Field to develop a Disabled Supporters Association, which can feed back accessibility ideas they have directly to the club and ensure consistent progress in this area. Kent Cricket's Disabled Supporters Association launch forum is actually taking place at the Spitfire ground, St Lawrence, and online if you can't make it, on Wednesday the 30th of July, and the group is keen to welcome new members. But as we say, the rain has now returned to the Spitfire ground. The clouds are brightening up slightly. I think it's going to be one of those days where the weather keeps changing. We'll keep you updated, but for now we're going to have a little bit of a break, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Kent Cricket live stream, proudly sponsored by Cluberly. No real update here from the Spitfire ground, but I'm afraid I've got a bad update from Sapphire Gardens, where Kent men are now 48 for 6 after 10 overs of the first innings against Glamorgan at Sapphire Gardens. Not the start they were hoping for. I'm sure there's many more cliches I can say about this. Just to take you through some other scores elsewhere. England are 153 for 6, requiring 455 more runs to win, with 4 wickets remaining against India. Going into what I know, Molly, you love, the ICC Men's T20 World Cup Europe qualifier. I'm afraid there's not much play there either.
Yeah.
Guernsey, Scotland was match abandoned, and Italy, with Grant Stewart, of course, he's chosen to play for Italy the next few days to try and help them get to the T20 World Cup. There's a delay there against Jersey. I know they won their first game. I think that was against Guernsey. Grant Stewart, quite economical. He was going at 4s. He took a wicket and he didn't even have to bat, and they won. So it was a good first game for Grant there. Just looking at the women's blast in Tier 1. Hampshire Hawks have beaten Somerset by 8 wickets. There's been no result at the Blaze versus Durham. Now, the Blaze, they're Nottingham, aren't they? So it might not be the same weather system that we're looking at. Just having a look on the radar. No, but there's showers, it looks like, all around the country today.
Yeah, I think it looks like we're getting the worst of it at the moment.
Essex women need 10 runs to win against Surrey women, with 1.2 overs left. That might be a bit of a close one there. Lancashire Thunder need 47 to beat the Bears from 8.5 overs as well. Looking into League 2, which Kent women are in. Obviously, we're delayed here. Match abandoned at Northamptonshire Steelbacks against Worcestershire Rapids, and another delay, Leicestershire Foxes against Derbyshire Falcons. So there's been no play in Women's League 2 of the Blast today, which no one really wants to see. But I would say it's brightening up, but that rain again has just got even heavier.
It's come back through, hasn't it? You were saying earlier, it seems to stop and then look slightly positive, and out of nowhere, the showers find their way back. And unfortunately, that is the same at the moment. So, yes, not much positivity we can bring from the home of Kent cricket. Hopefully, we're living in hope at the moment that this decides to finally move on, but we aren't too sure, unfortunately.
I did say we might get some more special guests up here, but unfortunately they're more interested in actually focusing on a game of cricket that's happening today here at the Spitfire ground. So I've decided that we're going to have a nice little interview with Kent women wicketkeeper Molly Davis. Molly, you've obviously been on commentary a few times now. You were here for the men's match, weren't you?
Indeed, yes.
How did you like that one?
Again, it was interesting, a different view of the game, and especially the 4-day stuff that the women sort of don't play at the moment. So, yeah, it was enjoyable, and it was a lot sunnier.
It was. You were alongside Andrew Radd, the BBC Northamptonshire legend, and Dan Whiting. How was that?
It was brilliant, actually. You can learn a lot from them too. Really good commentators, different styles. You sort of had the oracle within the statistician, and then that sort of Dan's sort of objective view was just really, really good insight throughout the days.
So looking back at your season so far, obviously you played in the T20 Women's County Cup and a few of the one-day cup games. The County Cup's a new competition for this year. How did you like playing in that one?
I really enjoyed it. It was a different competition, a new competition. I like to sort of compare it to the FA Cup of cricket. I just think it's one of them that anything could happen. And obviously we got to the quarter-final here against the Blaze. Didn't quite go our way, but I know the whole team were pretty proud to get to that stage, and just a really enjoyable competition.
Yeah, I had the pleasure of following the team round in that one. I think, like you say, it is like the FA Cup of cricket, isn't it? Would you back a men's version?
I'd like to see it. I mean, it's probably not too different from the Blast in the sense of either your North and South group. They don't really sort of play each other until finals day, but I think it just brings an edge of excitement, doesn't it? That knockout kind of style of sort of cricket, similar to football.
I'm sure Alistair at Bayliss Executive Travel was licking his lips at the prospect of Kent against Cumbria in a third round tie. Lovely bit of travel for those guys there. Yeah, I personally, I think it was great, the County Cup. We went to some grounds that we hadn't been to before. I think the teams that host us were really pleased that they got that far, hadn't they? Cambridgeshire,
Yeah.
lovely ground, part of the university. Berkshire, what a ground that was, wasn't it?
That was lovely, actually, and we had the pleasure, as you've said, to go to them sort of grounds you wouldn't sort of venture to normally in a cricketing season. And I think if that went into the men's side of things, I think it would expose different talent as well. I think that was something that was spoken about from the women's perspective, is playing sort of tier 3 as well. You had women and girls playing that were being seen by different coaches, so it was just a really nice environment, actually.
And obviously it's not like men's cricket, and it's not like sort of football, and there's no sort of transfer window, is there? But like you say, it's good for those players to get exposure. They could then move up a tier, as it were, or even we saw some players move down a tier to play in that competition as well.
Yeah, I think that was quite nice. I know we had Sophie Singer from the Kent Women. She went to Cambridgeshire on loan. I think from the loan perspective on that, there was a bit of rules around who could be loaned where. So, for example, from a Kent Women perspective, during that competition, we couldn't have Megan Sturge on loan from Hampshire just because the fact we might cross paths. So, actually, it gave the opportunity for complete Tier 2 squads to have that opportunity to play without having loans sort of come back sort of in from Tier 1. So, that was exciting and good opportunities.
Yeah, but as we keep saying, Kent Women were one step away from finals day. How good was it to play a team like the Blaze, fully professional, with a few internationals in there as well?
I think it was a really good experience, and I think it was good to have conversations with them players, and I know the coaches chatted quite a lot after, actually, to see the differences between how they went about their prep and just their season in general. And there was a couple of returns. I think Sarah Bryce was playing for the Blaze at that time, so she came and sort of back down to the home of Kent cricket, so I know I had a good chat with her, actually, while she was down here.
I think that's a good measure, actually, of how the women's game has changed in the last few years. The likes of Sarah Bryce, who were playing for Kent. Laura Marsh was one of the Blaze coaches,
Yeah.
Kent legend. Then also who could have played for the Blaze. Tammy Beaumont is a Blaze player now. We see the Surrey team nowadays. I would say it's a Kent 2, almost, with the amount of Kent players that have, quite rightly, they've gone professional, and fair play to them. They've made that step up. Let's talk hypothetical now then. If Kent were to become a Tier 1 team in 2029, how many of those former Kent players do you think would want to come back?
I think anyone in any sport has a hold on a key sort of fond memory of their first team or their home county. So I think it will be something that most players would contemplate. But I think anything in sport, it's all about timing. You've got to see where you are in your career and what is the right positive move for you. You look at someone like Grace Scrivens, you know, sort of Kent through and through from the age groups, and her career's taken her on to sort of different things, captaining Essex. So for her, potentially at that time of her career, is saying no, she might stay where she is, but I think if you ask anyone, they always want to come back to where they started.
And then looking at players that are here, right now, yourself, you took a break away from cricket, didn't you? What made you come back?
I think the system changing and the flexibility it had in the sense of opportunity being presented, I think that's something that attracted me to come back. And, you know, I took some time away from the game due to injury, so I think being 24, it was sort of my chance to sit down and think, right, is this my chance, sort of last chance to come back and have a good go at it, sort of injury free. And that's sort of what made my decision sort of easy to a yes. How many years I have left is a different question, but yeah.
Kentmen are now 7 down at Sapphire Gardens. I think it's Tom Rogers that's just got out, 68 for 7 now in Cardiff. Yeah, so it's not just yourself that's come back in, let's say, in the post-COVID era. We had Susie Rowe, played a couple more games after retiring for the first time. Emily Thompson has come back. We've got a few players that have taken time out and then made that return to playing. Why do you think so many players are choosing to come back to cricket?
In my opinion, I think when the setup changed from regional setups going back to counties, I think it made the system a little bit more easy to follow and opportunities were a bit more open. As I've touched on, I think when I spoke to Genevieve earlier, the fact that it's gone back to home counties now and you can play for your county instead of a regional system. One, it's that pride of still playing for Kent that continues, that I know a lot of me and the girls have spoken about, but I think also having the structure it makes it easy to see where that pathway can take you and that progression. It's a bit more aligned, and it's sort of just foul that, you know, Kent didn't get tier 1, which I know is a massive talking point at the beginning of the season, and we've sort of looked at that and gone, okay, so what we're looking to achieve. But by being semi-professional, there was a lot more opportunity available for players to come back into the game. And I think that's why the likes of myself and like Emily Thompson, as you've said, has come back in, because it's an easier sort of transition through cricket.
I think that's good as well, isn't it, for any player? I mean, you're only 24. There's players that are still young that chose to step away, and now there is that clear progression upwards, isn't there?
Yeah, absolutely. There's probably people that are heading to university or sort of coming back from uni that can look at that now and go, okay, I can make myself a county cricketer again by going through these steps. And maybe before it wasn't as easy. So, yeah, I think it's a good move from the ECB to align it back to counties.
So like we've said, the Kent women's side of today is not like the Kent women's side of a few years ago. If you were talking, say I was a Kent member now, what would you say is your biggest argument for Kent members to come and watch Kent women matches?
I think I touched on it in the week when I was here watching the Kent men. I think now it's all under that umbrella of just Kent. I think you can support your Kent men's team and you can support your Kent women's team, because we're all striving for the same goal. We're all striving to win and to be the best versions of ourselves we possibly can be. And it's always easier to support the same badge on both shirts than maybe not understanding the systems beforehand. And I think I've mentioned it in other interviews that I've done. I think don't compare the both. I think women's cricket stands in its own right and men stand in their own right. We're not trying to be the Kent men. The Kent men aren't trying to be us. So if you can appreciate both forms of cricket, then you'll definitely enjoy it a lot more.
Of course, Kent women fixtures are included in Kent memberships as a massive ripple of thunder just goes over the ground.
Yeah, and the rain continues.
So if you were a Kent member, you've got these matches in your membership. You don't have to pay any extra for scheduled home matches. Do you think that this Kent women's side is only going to go bigger and better next year, looking at sort of people trying to think about memberships for next year?
I think so. I think first year of any competition, of a new competition, you're always trying to find your feet. So I think every year will get better. And I think if these matches are included in your membership, it's a free day out to come and watch some cricket. You can watch some good cricket and maybe cricket that you wouldn't have the opportunity to see normally. And I always say, women and girls that you're watching now, if you can see them here in their early county years, if they go on and play for England or even any other teams across the world, you can say you saw them here first.
And of course, Kent women aren't playing at every ground known to man, are they? They're playing at here at the Spitfire ground and at Beckenham.
Yeah.
How great is that?
It's amazing. I mean, to be able to play at both of your home grounds is lovely. I know this year the whole team have been really excited about playing all their games here or at Beckenham. And from a cricket point of view, it's a lot easier to get a perspective on the pitch you're playing on, because you know what you're playing on week in, week out. And I think that's something this year we've really embraced.
So for now we're in Tier 2. It's a bit of a mishmash of counties, isn't it? It's not quite a north-south thing, is it? Who would you say is our biggest rivals in Tier 2? Obviously Surrey and Essex are in Tier 1, so sadly we can't turn them over anymore. Who would you say are our biggest rivals in Tier 2?
I think geographically it's probably Middlesex. It's London sort of derby, isn't it? If it's not going to be Surrey, it's the one on from that. So it is Middlesex, and you know they've great bunch of players down there, and also as well, I think it's a competitive game of cricket whenever we play. Really nice people. So yeah, it's always a fun one to go down to. I think there's a few old Kent men players on the coaching staff there as well, so it always makes it a sort of a fun meeting.
Yeah, it was good to see Harry Portmore, wasn't it, at Radlett? Absolute legend that man is. Not Sussex then? Not the War of the Worlds?
I think it probably has to be Middlesex. Sussex is obviously a rivalry there, but I think, yeah, keeping it in the London realm.
Yeah, I think War of the Worlds is a bit of a grower, isn't it? I actually had to explain it to a few of the men's players on Friday. They didn't quite understand what it was, so I'll keep hammering it. I know people know I love a catchphrase. We've obviously got the War of the Worlds against Sussex. We've got the oldest rivalry with Surrey. We've got the Battle of Bridge against Essex. And of course, we've got the Watling Street Derby against Northamptonshire, haven't we? the men's match that was here this weekend.
I think the team who come up with these names definitely try and find a grudge game in there somewhere, no matter how small or tiny. They try and find something, don't they?
But back to here then, at the Spitfire ground. I can see the umpires talking to the scorers at the minute. The rain is continuing to fall. Full covers are on now. Kent men away at Sapphire Gardens are now 73 for 7. Fred Klassen has joined Jack Ling in the middle. So say you were in Kent men's position right now, 73 for 7. What would be going through your head?
I think you just got to dig deep and try and bat your 20 overs. Obviously, you've got to try and score and rotate that strike, but you've got to find your scoring option. Obviously, it looks like Glamorgan have bowled very well to restrict Kent, so it's these sort of latter batters here, just digging deep and trying to scan for as many as they can.
I think it's the nature of the beast with T20, isn't it? You could beat Essex at Chelmsford one week, then not quite do the business here on Friday, and then that sort of hangover goes into Sunday. The schedule is actually ridiculous, in my opinion, of how many games are played in so few days. That's a bit different for the women, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think we said earlier, obviously, men being fully professional. With the ladies, we don't play 4-day cricket, so all of our games are white ball. 50 over in T20. You mentioned the T20 Cup, and that was all done in the month of May. So it was a pretty sort of mad sort of 4 weeks. But apart from that, the rest of the season is usually quite relaxed in the sense of we play on the weekends due to us working full time or in education. So yes, it's less frantic than the men.
You can say that again, yeah. And of course, they're mostly on weekends, aren't they?
Exactly. So like I just touched on, with us all working, Saturday and Sunday tends to be the more favourable 2 days to play. The ECB love to throw in a rogue Thursday or Friday game. And then there was a couple this year. We had a 50 over game down at Sussex, on like a Thursday, I believe. So that's always interesting.
Do you enjoy Hove?
It was nice. It was a cold day on the coast. But yeah, it's been some really lovely grounds we've travelled to, actually. You've touched on the County Cup, though. But obviously down at Hove was really nice. And we've lived, if we haven't been here this year, we've lived at Radlett, it seems. We've played Middlesex about 3 or 4 times at this point, and we haven't got Lords yet. So
no, that's on the list for sure, isn't it? If anyone from the ECB is listening, please give us Kent Middlesex at Lords next year. Oh, a double header, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I know Sussex had the privilege this year of having a double header, didn't they, down at Lords, and I know every Middlesex and Sussex player was very happy to be playing there.
So back to Weather Watch. I think it feels like right now, Weather Watch at the Spitfire ground. I'm sure Nick in the office can come up with a nice little graphic for Weather Watch for us.
I'm sure knowing that team up there, there'd be like a pun or something describing it, Weather Watch Cam or something like that.
Very good.
So
It's raining. I won't paint it any differently. It's raining quite heavily. As I said, the umpires have been talking to the scorers. You may hear the thunder has returned.
I feel like we will definitely get a cut-off time for everyone to work out when the latest we can go today. Obviously, permitting that the rain does stop and it does get drier, there will be a cut-off time, so I'm sure we can gather that information for you.
I think as well, with no floodlights available today, light could be an issue as well for any potential restart. It does look quite dark. The big screen is quite bright at the minute.
Yeah. Look at the weather app. I feel like if I haven't been talking to to you today, I've been looking at the weather rain radar.
What have you enjoyed more?
The rain radar.
Okay.
Hang on, it's looking. I've just had a look, and it's about 3:45. It's looking like the rain is going to sort of hopefully avoid us.
So for the benefit of those that can't see, there is a sort of band of rain that has a gap in it, about 3:45. But then there is another bit of rain coming as well. So I think best case scenario for all involved, for all cricket fans, is a lovely little T5 shootout, isn't it, Molly?
It is. I think everyone's going to be keen for a game, so I'm sure umpires and captains will be having a conversation to do the best option here to try and get a game played. But I mean, selfishly, as a spectator today, 5 overs aside would be amazing to see. I'd love to see it.
We should just say as well that there has been a toss, hasn't there?
There has been a toss.
So we tossed the coin at 2 p.m. And we do have 2 teams as well. Let me run through them. So starting with our visitors today, Glamorgan. We have Lauren Parfitt, the captain, Bethan Ellis, Bethan Gammon, Beatrix Ellis, Rose Evans, who could make her debut today if the rain subsides.
Fingers crossed.
Poppy Tullock, Georgia Parfitt, Anna May Sheehan, another potential debutant. Now, is it a debut if there's no play? Because they've tossed up. Does that count?
I'd have to get the official ruling on that, but I'd say no because a ball hasn't been bowled.
Okay, fair enough. Poppy Walker at 9, Nicole Reid and Katie Cobb. And the Kent lineup for today, I feel like an announcer now. I feel like Henry over there. And your Kent lineup: Ella Darlington, Grace Poole, Tilly Callahan, Elsa Barnfather, Kirko Streets, Izzy Kirby, Emily Thompson, Zena Bilal, Sydney Gorham, skipper Megan Belt, and Isabella James at 11. Those are the 2 potential sides that could play some sort of cricket today here at the Spitfire ground. But for now, it remains quite damp. I can see a steward taking shelter under a tree by the southern bank there. But this, Molly, is very different to Friday night, wasn't it?
It was lovely on Friday. It was sun shining and everything just said cricket weather. Today everything says football weather on a Sunday, doesn't it? That's what it says.
So you preferred to play football in this, would you?
I mean, I wouldn't be playing. I'd be watching from the comfort of a warm room, I think. But
so I can't ask you which position you'd play if you were playing football.
No, I think I'm not that good enough to say that I could play football.
Surely though, wicket keeper, goalkeeper.
People would think that, but I've been kicked out of goal in our warm-ups many a time. I've been told to go over there, so play on the wing.
Left back on the touchline then.
Yeah, anything where they'd have to pass to me, I think.
You're listening to the Kent Cricket live stream, proudly sponsored by Cluberly. My name's Liam. I'm here with Molly Davis, Kent wicket keeper. It's still raining. I might just put that on repeat a few times. Hopefully, we'll get a bit of a shred of hope that we'll get some play in. But we're going to take a short break now. We'll come back sooner if there's any news of any sort of reduced game. But for now, thanks very much for tuning in. You're listening to the live stream of Kent Women versus Glamorgan Women, proudly sponsored by Cluberly. My name's Liam. Just to give you a quick update from the men's game at Spitfire Gardens, Kent men have just passed the 100 mark in the 18th over. It's worth saying that their lowest ever defended score is 119. They're currently 102 for 8 in the 18th over at Spitfire Gardens. Here at the Spitfire ground, I'm afraid to say the thunder keeps rolling in. Some bursts of thunder around the Spitfire ground. The covers are very much still on. It is still raining. Yep, it's still raining here at the Spitfire ground. We will update you on any prospects of play. I will be joined once again by Molly Davis. She's just popped out for a quick break. If you've got any questions for us on the live stream, you can get in contact with us. Live stream at kentcricket.co.uk. Just as some lightning hits the Spitfire ground, just over past Freeman House, and you can hear that thunder now coming in. That's not great, is it? But we're hoping that this rain will pass over and we'll get some playing. So as I say, you can get in touch with us at live stream at kentcricket.co.uk. If you've got any questions for either myself or Molly Davis, Kent wicketkeeper. We may have a couple more guests as we wait for news of prospects of play. But for now, thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you again soon. Welcome back, everyone, to the live stream of Kent Women versus Glamorgan Women, proudly sponsored by Cluberly. Thanks to Cluberly for all their support this year with our live streams. It's meant that we can stream our women's matches in-house. I'm here with Molly Davis, Kent wicket-keeper. Just an update from Sapphire Gardens, where Kent Spitfires, our men's side, are playing the same opponent, Glamorgan. They finished their 20 overs 118 for 9. It's worth saying that Kent's lowest ever defended T20 score is 119, so they'll be making history if they manage to do it. Jack Leenan finishing 45 not out off 40 balls. Nice little return to form for him. But back here at the Spitfire ground, it has been raining. The rain has managed to get into our commentary box. Hopefully all the electronics are fine in here. The rain has now stopped though, Molly.
It has. It's doing what it's done all day. It stopped and we're positive and hopeful, and then all of a sudden it decides to return. I'm looking at the weather radar again, so hopefully I can update you with what I find.
And you actually went out for a quick break when the lightning struck.
I did. I went down to get a coffee and I avoided the lightning. But the Kent team seemed in okay spirits, tied in some autographs for the Guard of Honour today. They haven't able to do their Guard of Honour as of yet, but they are still here hoping to watch some cricket and to support the Kent women, which is lovely.
It is worth giving them a massive shout out. That's Faversham Cricket Club's, my club back in the day when they were called McNaid Cricket Club. More about that later. Faversham Cricket Club's girls Dynamos squad. They're here in their bright yellow Dynamos t-shirts, still loving the atmosphere in the ground. Rob, our sound man today, has exhausted his rain-related songs to play on the PA. Molly's just pulled a face though at the radar.
I have. It seems like at 4 o'clock it's looking like we are rain-free. However, it also then looks like at about 1:15 it finds its way back to us, which it does. But we're going to hope the forecast is wrong. I think that is more hopeful these days. But a short break in rain now might have maybe some positives.
Potentially. It's now slightly a bit chillier.
It is.
I think the main positive today is that the ground has finally had some water on it.
Yes, like I said earlier, the ground staff are going to be very happy. I think that it has had a good bit of rain today. But yeah.
Not much makes Longy very happy, does it? But I think a bit of rain when it's been so dry, he'll be a very happy man.
Yeah, I go home happy later thinking, right, I haven't got to put the sprinklers on later because it's all been done for me.
You're listening to the Kent Cricket live stream, proudly sponsored by Cluberly. I'm afraid there's been no play at all. We have had a toss. Glamorgan have won the toss and elected to bowl first, but how many overs we are going to get in remains a mystery at the minute. The umpire said they were going to have a look soon, and they have asked for the music to be turned down slightly to hear if there's any low rumbles of thunder. Obviously, you're not allowed to play in any thunder or lightning, so that will have an effect as well. Light might become an issue if these heavy clouds stay down here, but we remain hopeful of some sort of play.
I mean, to be honest, at a 4 o'clock inspection, probably is a good time now because the rain has stopped. So it's a good time for them to go out, and I think the last clap of thunder was probably about 15 minutes ago.
Like I say, you can get in touch with us at livestream at kentcricket.co.uk. You can comment on if it's raining where you are. We are at this stage of coverage now where we have no content left. I'm joined by Molly Davis, Kent wicketkeeper. Molly, what would you do in a rain delay then? What sort of things would you get up to with the squad?
Pack of playing cards, as Genevieve mentioned earlier, is always something I have in my kit bag just to sort of make the time go. But obviously, during sort of rules, our phones are taken away, so a good old-fashioned game of cards or just old conversation is what we turn to. Uno's generally taken on a trip away. But yeah, we're quite a relaxed group actually. Venture down to the coffee shop, get a coffee, and generally, if there's a massive rain delay, food's usually served, which brings many delight to a lot of the players.
I think the chef here, Aaron, he gets the plaudits of most away teams that come here, how good the food is.
The food's lovely. One of the best on the circuit, I'd say.
A few options as well, isn't there? Do you know what there is today?
I don't know what there is today. I haven't looked at the board, but every time I've played here and had lunch, it's always been a sort of options of maybe 4 different options. Chicken's always usually on there. There's always a nice pasta dish that's on there as well. I think he takes requests, I think, as well. What we like generally gets used a fair few times.
Well, hopefully they're tucking into that food right now because there's not much else going on at the ground, unfortunately.
No, there was conversations about taking lunch, I think, which our team or the Kent women teams are very happy to be told.
We should just say that this is a important match for today's visitors, isn't it?
It is. I believe if they win today, that is qualification for them for finals day, which I know they're going to be keen to get on and get some cricket played to secure that. I must say, if there is no play today, that doesn't end Glamorgan's hopes of finals day. That can be attained in their next game. But as we can all imagine, if you have an opportunity to do it today, you'd want to. And from a Kent perspective, are looking for that first home win of the season.
Yeah, Middlesex already qualified yesterday. Congratulations to Mr. Harry Podmore and the team up there for their qualification. Harry Podmore, very fondly remembered around these parts. Great bowler for the men's side and a great human being as well. But the rain's stopped here. Clouds are moving, let's say. There's still some sort of heavier clouds above the lighter clouds, if that makes any sense to you at all. The umpires might have a look in a minute. And in Sapphire Gardens, it's the innings break. Kent Spitfires managed to get 118 for 9 in their 20 overs. Put yourself in their shoes for a second, Molly. If you're defending 118, 119, what sort of tactics would you employ?
I think the power play is massive, and I think you need to take as many wickets as you can in the power play. So if it was me, and I've met Adam Holyoke a few times, the Kent men's coach, I'm sure it will be all out sort of aggressive field testings in the first 6 to try and get as many breakthroughs as you can. And obviously, credit to Glamorgan, they bowled well, but probably for the Kent seamers as well, they're probably looking a bit hopeful, and the spinners are something in it for them. So not all is lost, I would say.
I think looking at the stream from our position at the Spitfire ground, it's many miles away, but looking at the stream, it's quite a green top in Cardiff today. Probably favouring the bowlers a bit more than usual.
Yeah, I think so. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Kent lost the toss, didn't they, away to the men? So again, it obviously would say that it's a bowling kind of wicket. So yeah, hopefully the Kent men can produce something special.
Yeah, it's been a day of similarities really. It's Kent men against Glamorgan men in Cardiff. It's Kent women against Glamorgan women here. Both the Glamorgan sides won the toss. Both of them chose to bowl first. We just want 2 Kent wins then, don't we?
Hopefully. I think right now here at the home of Kent Cricket, we'd just take getting on the pitch. So hopefully we can get on. But you are right. 2 wins today would be delightful and something that I think both sides are searching for.
You can get in touch with us at livestream at kentcricket.co.uk if you've got any questions for myself or for Molly or any of the players that might wander up and join us later on. We will keep you updated on prospects of play, and I think there might be some movement down there, maybe a cheeky inspection by the umpires.
There was rumoured one to be at 4 p.m, so hopefully that does still take place and they find their way out to the middle. As we've mentioned earlier, a lot of rain here, but we're hoping that it's with being so dry, it is drained away and probably not as wet and damp as it could be. But we'll keep you updated with the inspection, and like Liam said, send in your questions. I'm sure there'll be some questions about your under-9 Macnades, Macnade years.
Under-9 Macnade B team squad member. I've got a trophy and everything. Thank you very much.
I'm sure that's hanging proudly on your wall.
Well, if I was allowed to put it on the wall, yeah, that'd be nice.
But we'll keep you updated with any updates here from the home of Kent Cricket.
So looking at scores from elsewhere then, England men in their test match against India need 408 runs to win with 3 wickets remaining. They're 200 for 7 in the 4th innings there. Sad for you, Molly. All the ICC Men's T20 World Cup Europe qualifiers have been abandoned without a ball bowled. So no further Italy cap for Grant Stewart today. Their match against Jersey was abandoned. Just looking at the women's blast then. Hampshire women beat Somerset women by 8 wickets. No result. The Blaze and Durham. There's a tie.
Oh.
Surrey women, Essex women ended in a tie. DLS tie as well. Even better.
Oh.
So Surrey women put on 159 for 5 in their 20 overs. Essex women reached 93 for 5 in their 10 overs. And that's a tie. You ever played in a tie?
I don't think I have. Maybe my Cricket Archive account would say differently, but not to my knowledge.
Elsewhere then, Lancashire Thunder won by 7 wickets against the Bears. Going into team tier 2, we have play somewhere. Stop the clocks. Derbyshire women are 32 for 5 in the 8th over against Leicestershire Foxes women. Sadly, Northamptonshire against Worcestershire has been abandoned without a ball bowled, and we're still waiting here after the toss has happened for any sort of play. I can actually see a few spectators venturing out now, so the rain must have stopped.
Yeah, I feel thinking positively though. The fact that the toss has been made and everything's ready to go, just waiting to get on. There shouldn't be too many holds up. When we get that sort of green light from the umpires, I'm sure everything should move pretty quickly and swiftly. So, like I said, we will keep you all updated to what's going on here. Spectators are making their way back out into their seats, slowly but surely. And I'm sure Kent women are hopefully looking to be ready as soon as that inspection's all good and hopefully the green light is given.
So, Kent men have got underway in the second innings against Glamorgan at Sapphire Gardens. They are defending 119. Glamorgan, Kieran Carson and Will Smale have opened up the batting for Glamorgan. Fred Classen's opened the bowling. They're 4 without loss after 2 deliveries there. We will keep an eye on that result, and hopefully we'll get some sort of play here as well, as Glamorgan's women's side are actually the visitors to Canterbury today. Molly, if you were at the ECB, would you have not just thought this could be a double header?
I think there's obviously a good argument for it, but I think some things just don't align up. If that was probably scheduling between travel, maybe between men and women's teams, I don't know. But yeah, would have made more sense for this to be a double header.
Now, am I right in saying that Kent women were in a double header already, weren't they, in the Blast?
Yes, I believe that was at Gloucestershire this year.
But it wasn't both sides, was it?
No, I believe it was Kent women and Gloucestershire men. So Gloucestershire women and Gloucestershire men versus...
I think they played Glamorgan.
Did they?
That's a bit of a weird one, isn't it?
There has been some sort of strange double headers. Obviously, you've touched on the Sunday coming double header here with both Kent teams and both Middlesex teams as well. So that one aligns for both teams, which is nice. So I'm sure it'd be a good day for travelling fans actually to come down and watch a game here at the home of Kent Cricket for both Middlesex teams.
And you've now said on record, on stream, and it can be recorded, that Middlesex are our biggest rivals in Tier 2.
I have, yeah. It'll be a really good game, I think, and it'll be an entertaining game to say the least.
So you obviously played against Middlesex in that Vitality County Cup match. Mm-hmm. Was there any sort of prickly atmosphere? Was there a bit going on between the two sides?
I think it was just friendly competition. There's some really nice girls and ladies down there at Middlesex, actually, and some really talented cricketers, and are always pleased for everyone's successes. Obviously, not ideal when it's against you, but just in general, when anyone does well, it's always nice to see.
So you're a wicket keeper, Molly. Are you a talky wicket keeper? Are you trying to get the batter out mentally as well as through cricketing aspects?
I think, I have good gamesmanship. That's probably the way I'd describe it. I'm all nice, all positivity, but I'm sure if you were to speak to some opposition, they'd say she's likes a chat. It's probably what the feedback you'd get, but it's all friendly and all healthy, and it definitely passes the time a bit quicker.
That's probably why you're such a natural on commentary then, isn't it?
I wouldn't say I'm a natural. I think I can just talk a lot, and that fills airtime.
Fair enough.
But
yeah,
no.
So double header. This coming Sunday or next Sunday?
This coming Sunday.
This coming Sunday at the Spitfire ground. Tickets are available at tickets.kentcricket.co.uk. You've now got 3 men's Vitality Blast matches to choose from. You've got that double header on Sunday 13th of July. You've also got Somerset here, a repeat of the 2021 Vitality Blast final, of course, on Friday the 11th. And then, Molly, it's the Battle of the Bridge on the 18th. Kent Spitfires versus Essex. It's probably the second match that everyone looks forward to after the Surrey match. Yes. Will you be here for that?
I will indeed. I tried to come down to watch as many of the men's games as possible. I know the women's team are quite key into supporting the men, and that one club kind of sort of mantra we have that was set out pretty early doors by everyone at Kent Cricket. So we always try to come down, and I'm sure this Sunday when So this Sunday coming, when the men follow us on, I'm sure a lot of the guys will get here earlier to watch us play Middlesex.
Yeah, I know Ben Compton and Mikey Cohen, they do try and make time to come and watch a little bit of the women's matches when they can. It does help that a few of them do actually live on the ground, so it's not a long commute for them. But we have seen them around watching the women's side. That's great to see. So the Kent Women's Blast remaining fixtures then at the Spitfire ground. We've obviously got today, hopefully we get some play later on. Then that double header on Sunday 13th of July. I think it's really good value for money that it's one price for both matches. So you're paying the price for a men's match and you get a women's match chucked in as well. So I'd love to see as many people listening on the live stream today heading down to the Spitfire ground on Sunday the 13th of July. Then, Molly, we've got Kent women against Sussex Sharks women. The Women's War of the Wheels, let's call it. On Sunday the 20th of July here at the Spitfire ground, 2:30 start. Now, Molly, a few of our matches here at the Spitfire ground, women's matches, a few of the start times have been a bit rogue. Do you prefer starting at C20 at 2:30 or 11 o'clock?
I think I'm a big advocate for a morning game. I think you can get up, get straight into the day, and sort of get on with the task in hand. And then, especially if you win and you have that time after with a team, like I mentioned before, like we're all work full time, so you get a bit more time to celebrate with your team then, and sort of just have a bit of team building and a bit of team time. When you're obviously away, it's a bit difficult because you'll travel into wherever it may be. But I'm a big advocate for the earlier start.
Where's the furthest you've travelled with the first team?
This year, I didn't go to Gloucestershire, but I think that's the team's furthest one. There was a time actually in the County Cup that the draw could have happened that we were going very north. I think we could have ended up near sort of Newcastle way, but that one didn't materialise.
I think it was Northumberland, wasn't it?
Yeah.
If they'd have beaten Cambridgeshire at the third round, would have gone up there, and I think cricket ops guys here were pulling their hair out of, oh my word, we've got to go all the way to Northumberland. Mr. Bayliss again would have loved that, wouldn't he?
I think there was a lot of emergency calls going, can you do a coach if need be too? But all the travel we've had this year with coaches has been great, and I know the whole team have been really thankful for all the support that Kent have given with that and flexibility, especially around sort of working schedules and sort of timetables as well. So, no, we are very grateful.
So going back to the double header then, you say that there's this one club feel. I've actually seen Daniel Bell-Drummond and Adam Hollyoak actually going out to the middle with Megan Belt one evening and saying, pitch conditions, what would you do if you won the toss, how you would set your fields. Have you spoken to many of the guys?
Yeah, what's been quite nice is that I actually witnessed when Adam Hollyoak and Daniel Bell-Drummond took Megan away. We were having a lovely coffee debrief that was sort of taken by storm, but actually it was brilliant because Megan got a really good insight into the pitch, and I know Adam Hollyoak's a really big sort of advocate and approach to the ground and sort of all the science behind it. But especially when we've been training down here on the weekend and the men have been travelling or finishing their session, they've stayed behind to have a conversation. Joe Denley spoke a lot to our batting coaches about approaches, so it's been really nice actually. I think Darren Stevens as well is always happy to give his advice when he can.
Would you have seen that back in the old days? When did you stop playing the first time around? 2020, wasn't it?
Yeah, 2019 I think in the end,
Yeah.
but similar, yeah. I think you would have seen a little bit of a crossover, and at the time there were some coaches that had done the academy men that would sort of transition over. So back in the day, Min Patel would be someone that would definitely give over as much advice as he could. He's a very wisdom of the game, but now I think more so there's definitely a lot more crossover between coaches and players, and I think with guys living on site, as you've mentioned, from the Kent men's, it's nice because you can just sort of have a coffee and that sort of just come through and you can have a catch up, and they're always keen to ask how your season's been going.
Who would you say is your best friend in the men's team then?
I think I chat a lot to Mikey Cohen just because he lives on site and he's around quite a lot, and obviously at the moment where he's been sort of injured a couple of years ago, he's always keen to sort of help out where he can and lend some insight because I think he watches a lot of cricket at the moment.
I would just say to those listening in that Mikey has now started bowling again after his quite serious back injury, and it is wheels, isn't it? You've seen it as well.
I've seen it. I'm very glad to watch it from afar rather than be in the net.
So Mikey's still not quite bowling off his full run up, but I would say 80 at least.
Yeah, he looks terrifying. I think when he bowled his first ball, I think Adam Holyoke was very pleased of how quick he was sending that down to the other end. But yeah, good advocate for cricket and just generally a very nice man.
Yeah, so the men are currently away at Glamorgan. We've now got some movement, ladies and gentlemen. The ground staff are out there. You might be about to pick them up on the live stream from the pavilion end. They're having a look at the outfield. There's a lot of prodding with trainers going on.
Yes.
Just so everyone's aware of what they're doing. Obviously, they can't just go out there and stand there. They've got to do that prod to see how wet the outfield is.
Yeah, you can see Mr. Long himself taking a very careful inspection. I feel he has full control of what happens out there. So what he says goes.
Longy, of course, very experienced groundsman, and his team, I think they'll have an opinion on whether we'll get any play today. It hasn't rained now for about 15 minutes, so like we said earlier, hopefully the ground has been so dry here over the past sort of week or so with that mini heat wave we had, that water has just been sucked straight into the drainage system, and hopefully we'll have safe conditions to play on.
Yeah, I was speaking to one of the groundsmen the other day actually, and they were giving me a very good insight to how everything works here, which was very interesting. It's probably something I don't know enough about. So it was quite interesting to pick their brains. He also dropped into conversation that he was a scratch golfer. So I feel, yeah, that was worked into the conversation by him, but I'm sure I can get a few tips actually.
And obviously you play golf yourself, don't you, Molly?
I do, so I feel I'm not a scratch golfer. So I feel any tips I'll be happily to take from anybody. But yeah, it's quite interesting, all the sporting prowess we have here at Kent Cricket, not only on the pitch, but obviously by externally as well, people who play sport at a very good level.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning actually to the members listening in that it's not just the two teams on the field, is it? There's people behind the people that I think not many people know about, and it's quite a tight-knit family almost in the Kent Cricket office that obviously try their very hardest to make this club as great as it can be. I know that this year the Kent Women, you've got loads of coaches, haven't you? Both sort of part-time and sort of recreational as well. How good is it to have quite an expanded coaching staff now?
Yeah, it's amazing. I think the fact that, as you've mentioned, it's all quite a tight-knit club, and the amount of wisdom we have shared from us, from sort of batting coaches through to bowling coaches to people that aren't even on our coaching staff but are here on a day that will happily lend some advice, and the physio support we've had this year has been really appreciated. I think obviously a few injuries that sort of find their way into players and around the group, so to have that support on and off the pitch has been brilliant.
So you are watching the live stream of Kent Women against Glamorgan Women, proudly sponsored by Cluberly. My name's Liam. I'm here with Molly Davis, Kent wicketkeeper. We're hoping that there might be some news soon on any sort of prospects of play. The ground staff are still out there looking at the weather apps on their phones. How many weather apps do you think they have? More than one, surely.
I think they do, apart from Mr. Long, who just says, look above. I asked him earlier, I said, what do you reckon we're going to get on today? He just went, look above, Molly, and you'll be able to see. So, like I said, them wise words there from the head groundsman. But they're not, the covers are staying on at the moment, but they're not looking defeated yet, are they? They're still out there.
No, some shoulders are back, aren't they? They're not looking too upset. So we might see some movement soon. I know Riley's now coming towards the pavilion, where he might be meted by a couple of umpires to have a quick chat.
Yeah, I can confirm that I don't think the inspection took place at 4 o'clock. So I would expect to see them walk out any time. Oh, as I've said that.
They're walking out and some covers are coming off.
See, that made me look like I know what I'm talking about there, as I've said that, as they've strolled out to the middle. Hopefully the covers coming off doesn't jinx us, because it has previously, not wanting to mention, but it's been dry here for the last 15-20 minutes. So hopefully that does continue, and some covers are being removed here.
I think it's worth saying as well that before the toss there was some time for warm-ups, and football was one of the activities, so it can't be that slippy, can it?
No, it cannot be that slippy. I think probably like most teams, a football warm-up is favoured. I think Kent men take it very seriously if they get a chance to play it, but the women do. Women take it very seriously. Our captain Megan Bout decided to drop into conversation that she got football Kent trials, but in the end didn't take it up because she chose cricket, which I think was very wise.
Megan, of course, is a European champion as a supporter of Tottenham Hotspur, so she knows what she's talking about.
I do think that's the closest she'll get to a football trophy in her own career, just watching it from afar. But yes, she could have chosen football, but we're all very grateful that she chose cricket in the end.
So the umpires are in conversation with the ground staff. It's like we're live covering. It's like ground staff cam.
That could be, I'm sure the people up in the office will be all over ground staff cam.
There is a chat going on. The covers are coming off. I think this might be some news that might be about to reach us, so we'll keep you updated with that one. Meanwhile, at Sophia Gardens, Kent Spitfire's taking on Glamorgan. Glamorgan chasing 119. They're actually 48 without loss in the fourth over. So they're going well there. Tom Rogers into his second over. They've had a full game there under the sunshine where Oasis played on Friday. I've made that joke again because it didn't land earlier.
For the third time, it will it will land.
But here at the Spitfire ground, as I say, the covers are coming off. It's slightly brighter, would you say?
I think I'm going to try and be positive. I think I'm going to go, yep, it looks very bright at the moment. Hopefully it stays that way. But just looking at the Kent men's game there, Tom Rogers, you watch every single Kent men's game. Are you a fan of his brilliance he's had this year?
I think Tom's a good player. He's a good bowler. He was in the Big Bash team of the tournament this past winter. As there's nearly a catch there, Daniel Beltran just goes over his head from Tom Rogers. Yeah, Tom Rogers was in the Big Bash team of the year in the winter with Melbourne Renegades. He can obviously hit it a bit. He's one of those batters that's either going to get out first ball or hit it for six first ball, which I quite like. That's quite entertaining. I think he's really good. I think he's a really nice guy. Fits in the dressing room quite well. I think he's one of the better overseas players that we've had over the last few years. Yeah, no complaints.
Yeah, I've watched him quite a lot, and he seems like a good cricketer. And from when I've seen him in conversations, he seems like a very nice chap.
He has just missed the edge as well, or has he taken it?
It might be
no,
out.
I don't know. Obviously, our live stream is far more superior, so it's just a replay here. This is like we're covering two games now. Oh, it was for the not the drop cap. The catch went over Daniel Beltran's head.
So here it continues. Some covers have come off. The umpires are doing a walk around the square to see how much water damage there is.
I think symbolically, though, one of them is holding an umbrella.
It's got to be done, isn't it? Surely in a rain delay, one umpire has to go out with an umbrella just in case it starts to rain while they're back out there again. But the groundsman is still out there looking probably from the nod from the umpires to say whether they're going to carry on with this or not.
I think it's worth saying that the main covers on the square haven't been touched yet, but as I say that, they are in hand.
It looks like they're coming off. You can probably see that on the stream. If you can't, it's just to the right of the camera, it looks like, that you can't see. But
yeah, the covers are coming off. Now, is this just so they can see how damp it is underneath?
Potentially. But I must say the Kent ground staff were very quick to get the covers on earlier. So I think they've given this the best chance they possibly can today.
I think that's another thing, actually, that people don't realise, that it's great having Kent women matches here and at the Spitfire and at Beckenham. That does mean that there are more days of working for our full-time ground staff, but obviously they haven't moaned about it. Actually, all of them earlier, before they put their jumpers and pullovers on, they were in the Kent women's training shirts, weren't they?
They were. I said to you earlier, I managed to have a quick conversation with a couple, and they all said they've got our training shirts to feel part of the team today, which was lovely. And it does touch on that one club that you've just said and that family environment, which was lovely to see, actually. And I think, who doesn't enjoy new stash and new kit?
You're actually wearing it now, aren't you? It's
I
the
am.
new Ambition Sportswear Kent Women T20 training shirt. It's quite jazzy, isn't it? A bit of flashes of red and sky blue.
It's lovely. It's I know all the team have loved to obviously have two kits this year, and we've mentioned before that it's the first time that the Kent women have ever had like a standalone T20 kit, and everyone's loved it, and it's just exciting to have sort of new kit to wear and have in your wardrobe.
Yeah, this is the first ever bespoke Kent Women T20 playing kit with koala on the front. The brilliantly named koala, spelled Qwala.
We had the privilege of meeting one of their representatives.
Yes, Paul. Paul came down from Koala for your kit launch, didn't he? He brought his daughter as well, didn't he?
Yes, I think she loved it. The team were very happy to sort of get her involved with all the pictures, etc. So it was lovely to have her there, and we can just see, looking out to the outfield now, Megan Bout, Kent's captain, chatting to the umpires to see what the decision is going to be. The positive side is, as there is no Glamorgan captain out there, it would say that we might get some play, because I'm sure if there was going to be a big decision being made, there'd be both captains out there.
We mentioned Tom Rogers earlier. He's just taken a catch for Kent men. Fred Klassen with the breakthrough. Glamorgan 51 for 1.
Oh.
Game on?
Game on. Game's always on.
Well, Molly reckons they can do it. Their required run rate, that's very hard for me to say, is now 4.43. So wickets.
Wickets are the key here,
Wickets
aren't they?
are the key. So Megan Belt walking back off with the umpires. The ground staff are now coming towards the practice wickets to take the cover off there. I actually think, Molly, if there's no more rain, we might be on here.
I think you're right. I think if these clouds can stay away and touch, wood, everything's going to go our way. We've had sort of a shower-free zone now for maybe about half an hour. So hopefully we can get back on. As I said, Megan Bout chatting to the umpires there, seems in good spirits. And it looks like the ground staff are taking the covers off of the practice wicket. So we will wait and see. Hopefully we can get an update to you soon to what that conversation was about.
Yeah, the umpires are now talking to the scorers, and I'm sure that information will be relayed onto us.
But no, it does seem like some positive news coming from us here, which is what you all want to be hearing at home, and especially what we want to be hearing here. So we can actually talk about the game and give you some insights rather than having to listen to us waffle on about weather.
I have got some more Oasis puns up my sleeve if we need them, though.
I think we should hold fire on them until...
I'll let them slide away for now, but hopefully we'll have some news for you soon as you are watching the live stream of Kent Women against Glamorgan Women, sponsored by Cluberly. I don't think anyone's said the name Cluberly more on the planet than me today.
No, you've done it well, though. I mean, it must mean business now as our head groundsman has taken off his coat. He's thrown that to one side. And they seem to be working really hard. And I know, actually, all the Kent women will be really sort of pleased and appreciative of what they're doing here, because it can be a gruelling job being a groundsman, and we do take our hat off to everything they do.
They're always really good wickets here as well, aren't they?
They are. It's a batter's paradise, usually. And yeah, no one can be disappointed when they play here. And I must say, everyone that's played here from different oppositions have always been always complimented everything here at Kent Cricket, everything from the ground staff to the changing rooms to the food. So as a club, we're definitely doing something right. I say we, not me, everyone else around the ground.
Do you reckon you make a good grounds person?
I think I'd want to give it a good go, but I don't think I'd make Longy's cut to here we go. I've now got the puns coming in to be in his group.
What would be your favourite job as a grounds person?
Probably the roller. I think I don't have to move as much, just got to sit down. But yeah, that or the tractor that goes around to cut the grass. They were saying to me in the week that they'd cut the whole outfield, and I don't think they quite filled up their container of cut grass because it was that short due to the weather. And that was a really big thing for them to say, and maybe I didn't give them the reaction they required as someone that maybe didn't understand that.
It's good to see Mark as well, our new maintenance man, helping out with the ground staff.
He's been great, isn't he? He's always walking around. He's always a busy man.
Of course, we miss Martin, our newly retired maintenance manager that was here for many, many years. I'm sure Martin's enjoying his retirement. Maybe he's tuned in today.
Maybe.
I did see him the other day, actually. He looks very tanned from his post-work holiday.
About to say, I believe he went away for a few weeks. I'm sure he would have enjoyed every bit of that. The rain radar is not matching up to what's happening, so we're going to take that now as a win, everybody. And hopefully it stays that way. Liam's mentioned earlier that there is some grey cloud around, but for the time being it's staying in the sky and that rain isn't falling, so we're going to take that as a very big win. The rain radar does say there's rain around, however it's gone from that lovely bright sort of red colour to a lighter blue, which means it's not going to be as heavy. And I can just see in front of us Isabella James walking, which is Kent's leg spinner, with her pads and gloves on. I think she's just come back from the indoor centre after having a hit. So I think there's movement in the Kent camp from perspectives of getting going.
Lynn Martin, our scorer, is now stood up. That means something's going on.
Lynn Martin's brilliant, isn't she?
Another Kent legend, isn't she? If you could cap staff players, I think Lynn would be the first one, wouldn't she?
Has to be.
Yeah.
She's been scoring for Kent now. I don't know, I couldn't tell you how many years, but pre-me debuting in 2015. So many, many years. Great supporter of the Kent women. Also sporting the new T20 top as well.
Yes, you can see the sky blue sleeves. They are available in the shop, I must say, as well. Barry Dyer, our retail manager, says they're selling very well. And they're available in unisex and women's sizes. So if you are a man and you're a fan of the Kent women's team, I've got one. So it's a unique fashion choice. I think that one that a few people should make.
Yeah, I'm sure there'd be, especially sort of back end of the season in the winter, I'm sure there'd be some Christmas gifts gifted to people as well.
I think this training one is a festival shirt, isn't it? I think we've missed Glastonbury now, but
it's jazzy.
Wearing that to Glastonbury, I think you're going to get a few thumbs up and nods, aren't you?
Think we convince for the bucket hat next year, potentially?
Well, you say this. Bucket hats are now in stock, ladies and gentlemen. Jazzy ones as well.
Oh, okay. I'm sure the Kent women will find their way to getting a few of them.
And Molly, I'm glad you're sat down. They're reversible as well.
It's like they're made for me. No, we're always happy to try a new bit of kit, a new bit of stash. It's always very well received. As the groundsmen are still out in the middle, a bit of direction now. It looks like the other covers are coming off. So more positive news being brought to you from us.
Yeah, very well said. I think the covers will now completely come off, but you know what's going to happen, don't you?
Don't.
There is a slight chance, looking at your radar and looking out the window, that as soon as these covers come off, it might rain again. But everything is crossed that we get some sort of play here today.
Like I said, it is looking a bit grey above. However, the lovely radar app is taking it down to more of a blue tinge on the radar app rather than the very brightly violent red colours coming from the heavier rain.
And you can play in a little bit of drizzle, can't you?
You can. And we've mentioned earlier, a T5 is always an option. 5 over battle. Anything can happen. That'll be quite fun.
What would you call a Kent women versus Glamorgan women match then? What's the snappy derby name?
That's a great question. I don't think I'm the best person to ask. I think the guys that come up with all the T20 ones for the men's probably are. Or if at home, if you're absolutely captivated by the content that we're currently giving you, then please send in your suggestions of names you could be calling Kent versus Glamorgan. Any suggestions are welcome.
Yes, that's live stream at kentcricket.co.uk. You can get in touch with us. Give us your Kent versus Glamorgan names. I think this morning the name chosen was Garden of England versus Wales. I think we can improve on that, can't we?
I think you can. There's got to be a niche tagline in there to try and get a better name than that. Obviously, you've got Battle of the Bridge, haven't you, for Essex? So you've used that. I'm trying to think of a better one. Maybe the guys up in the office today that deal with all of the media and communications part of the job can send in some suggestions. That'd be good to see, wouldn't it?
It would. It would be lovely for people to get in touch with us today. As I say, live stream at kentcricket.co.uk. I can see there's a few of you watching on the stream now, and this is quite a consistent number. So thank you very much for putting up with us for the last 2 hours. Love to hear where you're from, where you're tuning in from. If you're a Glamorgan fan, maybe a Kent fan, and if you just want to hear us shut up and talk about the cricket.
Yes, I'm sure everyone at home would like us to stop talking about the groundsman and the weather. So hopefully we can bring some good news to you soon. And like Liam's just said, thank you for sticking along with us, and your continued support means a lot.
You are prone to get a little bit stir crazy in here, aren't you? Especially during those rain delays.
yeah, I think the tendency to waffle on's quite quite high sometimes, but we're trying our best to keep it as informative as we can. As I say that, James Hockley, Kent's head coach, tends to venture out to have a little look at what's going on. Interesting to say, though, ladies and gentlemen, that so far we've only seen Kent's captain and Kent's head coach. I haven't yet to see a Glamorgan representative walk out. Maybe they're just enjoying the sit back and relax, but Kent seemed to be quite key to get on here.
You'd think that they'd want to move around a bit more. They've been on a coach for however long to get here today. Lovely, light, bright red coach with the Welsh dragon on the side. Arrived at the ground early today. I was very impressed by that. Obviously, they've made the journey down here. Do we assume they stayed over last night?
I think so. I think even though it's a 2 o'clock start, they would have stayed over to try and help their travel sort of tiredness and maybe stiffness. So yeah, we've mentioned earlier there's a lot of nice places to stay in Canterbury, and every travelling team that I've had the privilege of talking to have said that what a lovely city it is, and the sort of sights to be able to see while they've been down here has been lovely. So I think we're very lucky. We take it for granted, don't we?
We do indeed. Glamorgan men are now 2 down at Sapphire Gardens. Klassen and Rogers have combined again to dismiss Kieran Carlson, the captain and opener. They're now 80 for 2 though, only needing 119 in the 7th over, so they're in a very, very strong position now. I think if Kent pull this off, it'll be one of the all-time matches that people will talk about for years, won't it?
Yeah, I think it'll be one that people won't forget for sure. And just a small update from here, we have James Hockley and Megan Bout speaking to the groundsman in the middle. And I can see Kent's bowling coach just walking in front of us, Andrew Tutt.
Oh, Mr. Tutt, yes. A lovely man again.
Yeah, that's a theme, isn't it, in the Kent coaching staff? Lovely, lovely people. So he's just having a little wander, but it's good to see people out and about having a trundle around the boundary. Probably, albeit a wet boundary and a cold day.
He doesn't look like he's in much danger of slipping over though, is he? So maybe that ground has dried up a little bit.
Maybe. There seems to be some discussions out there with the ground staff and head coach and Kent captain. So hopefully we get some news to see what's been going on.
3 down at Glamorgan.
So I might be on here.
Nathan Gilchrist has struck. Harry Finch with the catch, and Horton has gone for 20. It's not game on, surely.
I called it early. I did say early that you might win. So obviously I'm not playing in that game, but if Kent men do the unthinkable and win here, I think I'm going to claim that as my own early call.
Have you ever played at Sapphire Gardens?
I haven't, no. But if my fixture list is wrong, there could be a fixture returning. This fixture here returning to Glamorgan. But I maybe wrong, it might be Gloucestershire. I need to check that.
So which of the big grounds have you played at? Obviously, everyone knows that you made your debut at the Oval when you were 15. Where else have you played? Where are any more test grounds?
No, I think the Oval's sort of the international test grounds that I played at. Obviously, I played at Hove, which hosts a lot of the England women internationals, which is lovely. Obviously, here as well, that is also an international ground for the England women. So a few locally, but I must say I've played at some really extraordinary sort of like club grounds or sort of second sort of grounds to counties, which is good to see. A lot of the age group girls especially will remember the old Malvern days, Malvern College. But yeah, that's lovely.
We've had a question in from Mr. Jay Stedman. Now, this could be the same Jay Stedman that works in the Kent Cricket office, but we'll let that slide now. He says, "Hi Liam and Molly, I hope you can make an on-air clarification after inaccurate comments that Tottenham Hotspur are champions of Europe." He says that PSG are champions of Europe. Now, that's signed off by Jay from Sandwich. Now, I thought that if you won a European trophy, you're a champion of Europe.
I mean, as a Bournemouth fan, I can never have that to my name. But I would say champions of Europe probably are. I wouldn't class Spurs in that realm. But that'll be definitely a conflicting view I'm probably going to about to say on air. But I wouldn't say that they can have that title to their name.
Well, I've enjoyed spending the day with you here, Molly, but I will say you're wrong, and champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. So
okay.
That'll be the last we'll say on that, obviously.
That's absolutely fine. I'm not going to contest that. As we are here, we can see another Kent coach, Darren Scott, walk out to the middle. as he trundles out. I must say he is Kent's spin bowling coach. He'll be give a very honest opinion of how how this ground's going to play. But sunglasses on his head, so maybe he's in hope of the sun to return.
You not have thought about turning the arm over a little bit?
Oh, I think if I try to bowl off spin, Darren might say, stick to keep him. Which is a very valid comment, I must say, as a reason I keep wicket and not bowl. But no, again, signs are looking more positive, maybe, hopefully, that there is Kent coaches out there having a look and having a discussion.
We also have fans now in the pavilion next to us. That's another good sign.
We do. People have stuck around, which is nice to see, because days like today, it's always quite easy to not stay.
Or they've been at home, listened to us waffle on and gone, I'm just going to go to the ground because I can't listen to this anymore.
I think that is more likely. Or they've muted us.
Yeah.
Just literally watch just the covers on the pitch and not hear what we have to say. But as I say that again, it looks like more covers are being removed, slowly but surely, by the ground staff here, as Megan Bout, Darren Scott and James Hockley are just quite happy observing. Do you reckon Darren Scott will ask to lend a hand to take the covers off?
We've had an update from the umpires.
Okay.
So this came in at 4:30. We have less than an hour to start any sort of match.
Okay.
They're hopeful of getting a match in, but patches of the outfield are still a bit wet. They need them to dry first. And there's no time on the next inspection. But it looks like Adrian Long, our head groundsman, will let the umpires know when he thinks it's safe to play. So they're hopeful of getting something in here.
No, that's good. I think the spirits seem quite relaxed and quite calm as we walk in front of us. Izzy Kirby in kit, ready to play. So I think all signs are pointing to potentially some sort of game, as Coco Streets also wanders back out and Andrew Tutt has a flexi stump in hand. It sort of points to a potential easy sort of warm-up. But hopefully, I mean, how many overs do you reckon we're getting today then, Liam, if we manage to get a game on?
Well, you say that. I've now had another update.
Okay.
Longy thinks the next rain shower will miss us, but the other ground staff think it will hit.
Okay.
Apparently, and this isn't confirmed, if it misses, we will play a 5-over shootout. So your prayers have been answered here, Molly. You wanted that 5-over shootout, and you might be able to get it, as Andrew Tutt, the bowling coach, is out there with the plastic stumps, and I think they might be warming up.
Yeah, we have Richard Durrant as well, Sydney Gorham, all descending to the square, which is promising. I mean, hopefully we're going to go with Longy's shout of that shower missing us. I think every sign says trust the head groundsman. He knows what's going on here. He knows more than anyone how he can miss weather. So Kent look like they're going to get on and have a T5.
Interesting again that Glamorgan haven't come out yet.
That is very interesting. Maybe they're just sort of biding their time thinking that shower's going to hit. We just don't know. So it looks like we can confirm here, any more rain, that'll be the game abandoned. But if it stays like this, a T5 is going to be what's needed, as that looks like it's thundering.
Slight ripple. Could be a plane, actually. There's a very rare cloud formation, Molly. I know you're into your cloud formations, aren't you?
I think you know more than me on that one. But no, it is fairly peculiar. As Isabella James walks out to the middle, along with most of the Kent team, actually. So this is looking like Kent are eager to start this and get going.
Is this a mental play of, right, we're going out there, where are you?
I think potentially. I think it's interesting, though, as Kent are batting first, and the whole team seems to have descended into the middle of the square. And we are yet to see a Glamorgan player who are going to be fielding first if we do get on. So maybe it is a bit of mind games. Maybe this is sort of a bit of Kent sick and tired of sitting in the changing room doing nothing, potentially. But I'm sure, I mean, Glamorgan have been in fine form and sitting pretty at second in the table. So I'm sure they're just trusting their process here and just ticking the boxes that they want to go through.
You're listening to the Kent Cricket live stream, proudly sponsored by Cluberly. My name's Liam. I'm here with Molly Davis, Kent wicketkeeper. You can get in touch with us at livestream@kentcricket.co.uk. Tell us where you're listening from. Tell us who you're supporting. Do you think Glamorgan will win this one if we get a T5? Or do you think, Molly, that T5, anything could happen, couldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's unpredictable cricket, which sometimes makes the best viewing. So hopefully we can get on.
My mind goes back now to the Oval 2019 Kent versus Surrey, Mohammed Nabi. I think it was 8 overs aside, and he single-handedly demolished Surrey, and Kent were the victors that night.
So a question for you: in a T5, would you want to bat or bowl first if you had a choice? Obviously the toss has been decided here, so we know that Kent are batting first. But again, if you could just pick yourself, what would you want to do?
I think with rain around, you want to bowl first, don't you? Then you've got your DLS par that you can almost base your innings around, and when we do get going, that big screen will show the DLS par score at the end of each over. So I think you get more of an idea, don't you, of how many runs you need, whether you need to speed up or whether you're all right. But at the same time, it's T5, so one big over with either bat or ball, and it swings, doesn't it, quite dramatically.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what's going to be interesting here is the tactics that are then changed from the Kent perspective. Obviously, Kent batting first, they'd be adjusting their thought process now to who will open the batting, slightly different approach. Obviously, looking at today, who will open, I'm sure there'll be some conversations about that. Personally, I wouldn't be too shocked to see Izzy Kirby up the order. Obviously, we have Grace Poole that will more likely than open with her sort of strong striking of the ball. And Izzy Kirby will probably, I imagine, be bumped up that order as well.
I have said before to any Kent members listening that might be listening to the first time to a Kent women match, Izzy Kirby is a little bit like the Grant Stewart of Kent women, isn't she?
Yeah.
She can bowl it on her length, and she can also biff it if she needs to.
Yes, so I do imagine I'll see her up the order today. As we will, Elsa Barnfather walks in front of us as well, which I think she'll be key today. All the flair, all the fancy shots, but I think in a 5 over sort of game, that could be what's needed, just to put the field and the bowls on the back foot, create some scoring options. But I'll be interested to see how Kent approach this in the batting order.
It is worth saying that those covers haven't completely come off yet.
No, but everyone looks quite relaxed, and the groundsmen still look like they have positive body language. So we will see what happens. We are hopeful for a 5 over a side game here against Kent and Glamorgan.
I think what we're going to do now, Molly, we'll take a short break, and if we get any news at all, we will jump straight back on and let you all know on the live stream. Thanks for tuning in, and hopefully we'll be back with good news very soon. We have some bad news for you, everyone. Welcome back to the live stream, sponsored by Cluberly, but I'm afraid we won't see any cricket today. It looks like the umpires have said that it's not quite dry enough to be safe to play on, and it unfortunately will be match abandoned.
Thank you for sticking with us today and listening to us give weather reports for the last 2 to 3 hours. Appreciate everyone tuning in, and as we've mentioned earlier, next Sunday is a double header against Middlesex, so hopefully by then weather's a lot brighter and we're finally seeing the summer, and it would be great to have as many of you down here to come and support.
Yeah, looking at the long range forecast, it's actually going to be quite sunny ironically after today, so we've got that men's T20 on Friday the 11th against Somerset. We've got the T20 double header, like Molly just said, on Sunday the 13th of July. But unfortunately today, no play possible. It looks like the men might be about to come second in the men's blast at Glamorgan. And we will say goodbye now and thank you very much for tuning in.